Hey guys, this is another edition of our Gags Goals update. This is a Road to 198 series. So if this is your first time kind of checking out the series, I'm Coach Gaglione, owner of Gaglione Strength. This is kind of chronicling my weight loss journey. I've been as heavy as 340 pounds. So at the time of this workout, I was about 245 pounds. I was a little bit heavy and bloated from the holidays. We had a great holiday workout here Christmas Eve at the gym. We had an ugly sweater contest, which our man Elvis won with his Christmas poncho. And we had a great time. In that particular workout, I worked up to 505 for a set of 8 and a loose pair of knee wraps. And that was the most I've done since my last competition in November. And this year is going to chronicle my journey to my next meet on April 6th. So I've been kind of progressing the weights up. I'm kind of finishing like an off-season kind of, hypertrophy block period, and I want to kind of test out a little bit to see where I was at. So I hit some heavier singles and some AMRAP sets and some other lifts. So after Christmas, like I said, I was a little bit kind of bloated during this particular workout after, I guess this was New Year's Eve, so there was a lot of Christmas festivities and parties and things like that. And there was no shortage of Mom's delicious rainbow cookies, as I've mentioned before. So yeah, I had a little bit of a diet break, but besides the added calories, which probably would have been fine, I just was eating things I don't normally eat, so definitely the weight was up a little bit more. At the time of this taping, I'm around 239, 240 this morning. But we're just going to kind of recap the squat workout first. So the objective was just to one, to test out a Squat Buddy device from Spud Inc. Essentially, this is kind of like a slingshot for the squat, which is kind of an idea I actually proposed to Mark a while back, but just never kind of came to fruition. The only thing, if you're interested in getting a Squat Buddy, I would kind of recommend this. I would recommend this for an equipped lifter. I'm not kind of quite sold on it for a raw lifter, at least at this time. But basically, what you can kind of do is, and the other thing is, I think that these kind of pull tabs can actually be on the other side, so this kind of area doesn't kind of hit your, so you can kind of pull this up. And this is a smaller one, but you can kind of pull this up, and it'll sit just above your kind of glutes. So you can kind of pull this up here. This one's a little bit tight on me, but you guys get the idea. And you can kind of get this up to the glute area. It's going to kind of act like a squat brief in a sense. That one's a little bit small, but you get the idea. So I warmed up with the Squat Buddy. Felt pretty good. I used that to a box. It's really going to only work if you're kind of like a wide stance, really kind of a posterior chain dominant squatter. So for a gear lifter, I think it's great, and it kind of mimics kind of what it would feel like to squat in briefs without actually having to put briefs on. So I think that's a really great tool. So I use that in my warm-ups. I also use that in my secondary movements. But basically today I wanted just to work up to a couple of kind of moderate singles in my briefs. And I wanted to just do a little bit more than I did last cycle around this time. So last cycle around this time, I did 600 in just my briefs. This time around, I did 605 in just the briefs. That felt really good. So I proceeded to do some sets with just my briefs, no suit this week. And then I hit up, I think, about 655 and then 700, which 700 is the most I've done in briefs in a really long time for not wearing a full squat suit. Last time I did, around this time during my meet, I think for 242 and my meet for 220, I haven't gone over 700 pounds in a squat without wearing a squat suit in quite some time. So that was cool. So that's definitely a PR in just briefs only without the squat suit, even regardless if I'm wearing knee wraps or not. And I was held to a pretty good standard. The briefs were definitely a little bit tighter, just being a little bit heavier, so I know that it'll fit me probably pretty good. I couldn't really get them up quite high enough in the kind of like the glute in the hip area. But I know as I kind of get a little bit leaner and get back on the diet, those will fit me just fine, and then they'll definitely fit under the canvas suit, which I plan on still squatting in the canvas suit. So I won't get back into the squat suit for a couple of weeks. Continue to build my raw strength. From there, I use the Squat Buddy with the box. I think that using the Squat Buddy in combination with a box squat is a great idea. Now again, if you're like a medium or narrow stance squatter, I don't think the Squat Buddy at least at this time, is, I haven't experimented, but it didn't really feel too comfortable for me when I was trying to do like a narrow squat or anything like that. But if you're a wide stance, if you happen to be a really wide raw squatter, which is kind of rare these days, potentially it could work. But I see it as a really great tool if you want to get some more volume. If you're an equipped lifter, you want to maybe just get a little support, but not like a crazy amount of overload. I find it's a great tool for that. So it's going to allow you to squat a little bit wider. It's going to allow you to sit back a little bit more while still getting some compression on your hips. So I just did a couple of sets of 5. I think the top set was 465. First set of 5, it was very comfortable. I could have definitely went heavier, but after doing 700 for a single, I was kind of shot at that point, so I just called it a day after that. It's supposed to have a reduction in volume anyway, so that was fine. The next day, I just finished up with a sim accessory workout, did some light safety squat bar squats and some light belt squats the next day, and kind of finished up just to get a little extra blood flow. That was a pretty good day, so I was really happy with that. The squats went really well. During the Christmas time as well, like I kind of mentioned before, I've been kind of coming back from like a shoulder injury from the meet. So I've been progressing really well on the bench. Don't have any footage for the bench this past week, but I worked up to 370. I worked up to 315 raw, and then I did 375 in the slingshot, which is the heaviest I've gone this cycle. So I'm pretty happy about that. So even though it's nothing, and I did some volume with the slingshot. I did some sets of 315 for 8, and then I did some other raw volume at around 275, just to get some work in. I tried a different bench shirt, but it was too tight. I was too swollen. So I don't have any footage of the bench because I literally couldn't get anything to kind of move at all. The chest plate was very tight, but I assume that once I drop some weight, whether it be a 220 or 198, I feel like that bench shirt will work really well once I'm a little bit smaller and my kind of diet kind of normalizes and my weight kind of drops down a little bit. So I got a couple of different bench shirts I'm going to try. That's kind of the big question mark right now, but things are heading in the right direction. It was definitely a good end to 2018, and now we're kind of going into the new year. So I appreciate you guys watching and following along my journey. Still trying to get leaner, still trying to get strong in 2019. If you guys enjoy the series, please check out the links below. Please subscribe if you want future content. And thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay strong. We'll see you soon.